What's up, fat synth dudes and fat synth dudettes? This is a new thing I'm trying out. I have a lot of modules, so thought it'd be fun to get to know them a little better by doing little mini reviews and tutorials and stuff. And hey, who knows? This may lead to something else. The camera quality ain't the best. I've got a nicer one, but unfortunately I let it discharge, so can't use it right now. But let's see how this goes. Because, I hate it when synth nerds just won't shut up, so I'm going to make my own video where I won't shut up. Alright, so today I'm going to be doing these circadian rhythms. Back in the day, little history, this was a couple of years ago, this was kind of like the sequencer module to have. Like, if you got a sequencer, if you were going to be enough of a bum to not sequence outside of the modular, then you had to use the circadian rhythms. And as such, it was kind of priced accordingly. It's $500 back. Well, I checked Sweetwater a little while ago, and it was $500. These days, there are better, more varied options out there for triggers, but this one still has a lot of appeal just because of the fact that look at that inviting button layout. Don't you just want to press them? Press all the buttons. All right. So the way the circadian rhythms is set up is it's a 8-channel sequencer. It's for triggers and gates. What's unique about it is the way you get around. Like, if you'll notice right now, there's just this one channel lighting up here. That's because we actually have this in vertical mode. It seems counterintuitive, but the whole point is you can kind of take a look at everything at a glance. This one here tells you what group you're in as far as what pattern group. This tells you your preset number that you're in. And this determines what channel you're working on. Not really fun for programming, but good for getting an overview on things. So the part that looks and plays the funnest is, of course, the 8x8 mode. Yeah. This is one of the things that kind of sucks about this thing is it's the way patterns are set up on here, everything is in 8 steps. So, like, if you want something longer than 8 steps, you got to chain them together. But let's just do a little walkthrough on that. So right now I've got a bunch of stuff hooked up to this thing. I'm relying on TipTop's 909 drum kit for the percussion, so it gives it this. Pretty cool, eh? Yeah. Let's put some snare on there. How about some hi-hat? Open hi-hat. Some staccato thingy hats. And let's bring up the tempo a little bit. Pretty neat, huh? So that's what 8x8 mode looks like. So let's say you want to have a 16-step pattern. What you got to do is you go into vertical mode first, and then you set them to chain. The way you do that is you take the set loop button, and look at that. You got 2 of them looped together. Button right. That's one of the things another thing that isn't the greatest about this machine is that, the buttons aren't exactly fun to mess with. So you've seen 8x8 mode, but go back here, it's alternating between patterns. So if you want to have that pattern continue on, then the easiest way to do this is by going to 4x16 mode. And you'll see this chaining the 2 patterns together. There's steps of 8, alternating back and forth. So if I want to fill that up, pretty cool, huh? So to navigate between channels, you use the up and down cursor while you're in this mode. And you'll see here that it's so if you want to copy and paste patterns, then you go back to vertical mode, hold down the copy what it is you're copying, right? Makes sense, right? Copy this, and we're going to put it here. There we go. Kinda. Yeah, it's a little finicky. Like I said, there's better sequencers these days, but back in the day, this was kind of the sequencer to have. So now if we go back to 2x32 mode, page up. Right? And what you can do with the triggers and such is you can also use them to trigger other sequencers. Here, let me go back to 8x8 mode. So like I was saying, what you can do is you can set this thing to send sequences out. Right now I've got the clock output going to Rene. Here, let me go ahead and bring up the audio on that. There we go. Rene's in Cartesian mode right now. I'm using channel Z, and right now the clock is going straight to the X gate input. So it's just modulating between the same 4 notes, right? So if I want it to move around a bit, then I need to remember which one of these goes to which. Okay, it was these long ass ones. So channel 7. There we go. Now it's bouncing around a bit. Pretty sweet, huh? If you're curious about the sound design on this, because I'm kind of a geek myself, TipTop TipTop 909 modules are doing the drums for this. The bass line we're hearing is going to be the EMW Alias VCO being run through the Doepfer audio divider, and then back into the Doepfer A105 SSM filter. And that's being modulated by a Bastl Trinity, sending out the envelope, and there's I got 2 nonlinear circuit sloths modulating the hi-hat tuning and the filter modulation. So it's got that nice slow thing going on there. Neat. So let's add some more noises. And this would be a perfect time to show off the pattern chaining. Okay, so let's go back to vertical. We're going to copy this preset, paste here. Cool, right? So let's change the loop back to being just a 1x2, just a 1x16. Go back to 4x16 mode here. Cool. Now the reason we went ahead and put this in to this mode, excuse me, the reason we did this is so that we can come back here. And let's add us a little bit of a pattern change up there. So now the sequencer is doing something slightly different, but also I got this channel 5 going into the Roland 500 series envelopes, which is controlling the VCA holding an Ataraxic Translatron. So now this way, it doesn't sound as crowded in 1x8 mode. So let me go ahead and hit it, throw a trigger in there. Pretty cool, right? Now the real gem, I think, is I have the Starlab with a, let's see, I've got Bastl Skis going into it, coming out of the frequency shifter, which in turn is coming from, I gotta remind myself here, I set this patch up yesterday, so I kind of forgot what it's doing. I got tides being modulated by the Sloth as well, so let's have Starlab take over. Gorgeous, right? Let's start bringing some of them drums back in. And with the drums, I've got them going into the TipTop drums mixer, which in turn is being summed through the G-Storm DC571 compressor. So it's got a little bit of glue going on there. Now another thing this thing can do is it does have, it sets out triggers by default, but you can make it send out gates. And how we do that is you just take whatever step you want it to start on and whatever step you want it to end on and hold those two. So there we go, we just put a gate there on the Ataraxic. So now you hear what's going on there is the way I have the envelope set up. It's got a long decay. It's got a long release but a short decay. So by having a gate, it's cutting off the length of that sound. Pretty spiffy, eh? Alright, one thing that's kind of weird about this system is, let's say if I want to put it on pause for a second. Now, you'll notice there's no save option here. What it does is if I turn everything off right now and turn it back on, it'll come back clear. But if you stop, then it saves everything to memory. And you get to hear that nice little drone coming out of the tides. Or, excuse me, ENW. Alright. Neato, right? Now, one thing that kind of sucks with this thing is that the clock on it is, it drifts pretty badly. Like, the way I usually work is I will, I'll often create a loop in the modular and then sample it and put it into renoise. Well, it's not going to be exact there, so I got to time stretch it, which isn't too much of a problem unless I'm doing something melodic, then it'll put things out of pitch. So generally you want to keep the TipTop Circadian rhythms as either, you want it to be the base of everything when it's not going into something that's going to be dependent on clock, or you want it to be slave to something else like the MIDI signals. Which is generally the way I do it these days, is I just use the clock input. Now, outside of that, it does have a swing setting to it. Let's try that. It's confusing because there's a swing knob, but you gotta turn swing on first. So, let me find it. There we go. Doesn't really work well for the mechanical stuff I do, so let's just turn that off and leave it off forever and ever. Okay, so there's one other fun trick it does, and that is in the randomization. Now, what you can do is, the way I'll usually do this is by group. You just hold down random, and then hit the group. There we go, pure fucking chaos. And you can clear all that just by holding down clear. Pressing it. But what if you want more chaos than that? Well, you're in luck. If you want more chaos, hit the random button and then hit the group. Now instead of doing just 16th notes, it's randomizing everything down to the micro level. Wild, right? So it's fun for, it's a good module for quick and dirty, like if you want just very basic, simple rhythms. The shorter the rhythm is, the easier it is to mess with. And there you go, that's Circadian Rhythms. Secondhand price on these things aren't too bad, and it's not the best sequencer, but it's still a pretty good one, I think. I lean on it a lot. Anyway, thanks for checking out the channel. Hopefully we'll do more of this, and enjoy your Monday evening, kiddos.